Welcome to St. John, New Brunswick. We are here today exploring this beautiful port town as part of our cruise, but what we get up to today could be done by anyone, whether you're visiting on your own or as part of a cruise. This video is going to cover some of the local attractions here and things that you can do within a short time frame because we only have about 6 hours to explore this town. For our day in St. John, we decided to sightsee on our own and check out some of their local craft breweries along the way. The city is located on the Bay of Fundy and has a population of about 74,000. It's known for the reversing rapids, the popular city market, and historic architecture. And if you're just tuning in, don't forget to check out some of my other videos from our Canada and New England cruise, linked in the description below. When we arrived, we found out that there was space on one of the trolley tours, so we purchased tickets at the information booth and then made our way to the trolley. This tour was narrated by a tour guide and took us around the city to see some of the highlights and learn about the history of the area. Our tour guide was very knowledgeable, friendly, and had some great stories to share. Our first stop this morning is at the Reversing Falls, and this is a really cool attraction because when the tides come in, it pushes against the river and creates whirlpools, and it's a really unique formation here. It's really cool to check out. We do see some whirlpools happening behind us now, but what we know is that it's not at its peak time, so if you do come when the tides are higher, you'll probably see it a lot more.
So from my understanding, the rising of the tide reverses the flow of the river. I don't think we're seeing it right now, but it's still pretty to look at.
Yeah, we're only seeing some whirlpools and a lot of foam. There were 3 tour buses here when we arrived, and this place was packed, but now the tours are all gone. We're loading up ours, and it is absolutely empty. Once our visit was over, we loaded back onto the bus and were off to our next attraction, which was back into the city. Along the way, we saw a few other points of interest and learned about winter in the Bay of Fundy. Our tour is over, and they gave us the option of being dropped off in King's Square or being taken back to the cruise ship. So we decided to be dropped off here in King's Square, and they're setting up some sort of celebration right now. And after we take a look around here, we're going to head over to the market. Throughout the square and park area, there were numerous statues and plaques to check out with historical figures and information. And instead of heading to the market, we decided to head to the beach instead. We are currently heading down to the waterfront area, but we're not entirely sure if we're even going to be able to see it because there is a very thick fog that has just rolled in, and it's really hard to see through. There's a building over there. We don't know what it is. Can't see it. We made it to Tin Can Beach and are walking down the beach close to the water, but we still haven't even made it to the water's edge because the tide is out, so the water is out pretty far. It's really cool here because all of this is covered in seaweed, and when the water's back in, it will be completely underwater here. So it's a really neat attraction to see when the tide goes out because we don't have that where we're from. And it's just beautiful right now. The fog has rolled in, so it's kind of, you can't really see too far, but it's still really pretty. Definitely add this to your list if you are coming to St. John. After our beach visit, we walked back through the port area and found the Three Sisters lamp. This is in direct line with the steeple of the Trinity Church and was for sea captains to navigate safely into the port at night. Here we could also see our ship and had a great view of the port area. As we're walking around town, we're seeing some of the beautiful historic homes here that have been around for over a century. Some of them are still kicking and holding strong, and there are so many beautiful houses in the downtown area with historic architecture. So if you do like that, definitely set out on foot to explore and take in some of the houses and architecture. Some of the buildings even have the dates on them. This one says 1879, the one across the street is 1878, and the one with the clock is also 1878. I really enjoyed seeing all of the historic buildings throughout the town on our walk, and especially liked shopping in the downtown area with all of the cute shops and pretty architecture on the main street. And I must say, St. John is much hillier than we expected. We are going up quite a steep grade right now. Our next stop today is the St. John City Market, and this has been open since the 1870s, so that's pretty cool and historic in our opinion. Inside they have different vendors selling crafts, meats, vegetables, etc. So we're gonna go take a look inside. If you are in St. John and looking for somewhere to get some souvenirs, the market here is the perfect place. They have different handicrafts available, plus they have different preserves, candles, other things, and there was an entire booth full of maple syrup. And then it was time to visit some of the local craft breweries, and there were quite a few in the area, so we decided to try a few on the route back to the ship. Our first stop was at Picaroons Brewery, and they had 13 beers on tap during our visit. We each got a flight and sat by the windows looking out to Main Street while we enjoyed sampling our selections. Next up on our list is Big Tide Brewing Company, and they have 6 beers on tap, so we are getting one flight of 6 to split so that we can sample them all. They have outdoor seating, which are picnic tables along the side of the road, which is fenced off, and the road is on such a severe slope they actually had to build up the picnic tables on an angle so that they weren't tilted. So they're perfectly level. But it was just really interesting to see how they had to get creative with the picnic tables here. Also, something to know is that there's a great water view behind us here. However, you can't really see it when the cars are parked here. If I go up, you might be able to see it. So it is quite pretty. I do like that they got creative with the patio here so that you can get some water views. So we got one of everything that they had on tap, and in the order that it is here, it's the Kolsch, the cream ale, the raspberry wheat, the amber, the double IPA, and the stout. And they recommend that we drink the double IPA last, which I'll probably do because it's going to be my favorite. I can just tell you right now.
Oh, I know. That is really good.
That's impressive.
I'm gonna try this one now. One side to the other.
This is the Kolsch.
Surprisingly good too.
This one.
Okay, 20s? Yep.
That is a nice IPA. I can see why she said to drink it last. Has a lot of flavor, like a punch of flavor. I love that. Favorite. I haven't had any of the others, and I know it's my favorite. Stop number 3 is at Wasted Day Brewing Company, and we have a flight and we can see our ship from here. This was a neat stop because they had 2 shipping containers stacked outside as outdoor seating with a rooftop patio, and it gave us great views of our ship in port. Although it was rather noisy out there with all of the construction, we still enjoyed the experience and the cool setup. We've officially been to 3 breweries here in St. John, and all of them have been amazing. I would have to say, I think my favorite was all of them. They were all delicious. They all had something unique, something different. So if you are in St. John, definitely check out the 3 breweries we've been to here because they're all worth a visit. On the way back to the ship, there are some vendors that have set up here right out in front, selling jewelry, handicrafts, and other items. So if you are looking for souvenirs, you could definitely check out the vendors in front of the ships. And our final stop before we head back onto the ship is the waterfront container village, which we learned was built specifically for cruise ship passengers, but locals are taking advantage of it as well. We're not sure what's inside, so we'll take you along with us. The first thing we noticed was a selfie area with spots for photos in front of different murals and art. They also had a lot of picnic tables and sitting areas too. The Container Village is a great stop if you just want to get off the ship to get some souvenirs or maybe get something to eat or drink. There's a Beaver Tails booth, a pizza, and some other food and beverages as well. Plus they have a maple syrup farm that has their own booth here, a candy shop, and a lot of different souvenirs that you can grab here. It was really fun to walk around, and it's right beside our ship, so you don't even have to go too far. And if you are purchasing souvenirs, this would be a great spot because you don't have to lug them around with you. This can be your last stop on your way back to the ship, get your souvenirs, and then get them right onto the ship because it's so convenient. It's literally right beside the ship. And that's it for our day in St. John. We are heading back to the ship now through the Container Village. So beyond here, it is cruise passengers only. Then we made our way back through security and onto the ship, where we got some final views of the city before we set off to our next destination. It was really neat to see how far we were able to walk from one end of the city up to the market and back again. We even sailed past one of Holland America's ships that was in port with us that day, and that was pretty neat to see as well. Then we saw Tin Can Beach from the ship. Or what was the beach. The tide had come in and it was completely covered with water as we were sailing out of port. I really enjoyed our day here in St. John and wish we had more time to really explore the area. I hope in the future that we can come back with our trailer to check out more of their parks and camping spots so that we can really experience New Brunswick. Well, I hope this video can be helpful for you if you're planning a trip to St. John in the future. And as always, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Coming up, I'll be sharing our full day in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and everything we got up to exploring the city. So stay tuned for that.